Good morning and welcome to everyone tuning in to the live ICMS Virtual Open Day for 2021, and specifically the International Sport College Australia session. My name is Angus and I'm excited to be your MC for this session. Before I get started and before I welcome our speakers, I would just like to remind any students who have questions to click the blue box below and we will try our best to get to them. Now I would like to welcome our speakers for this session. I'm privileged to introduce Bettel, the current program manager for the International Sport College Australia. Welcome, Bettel. She is an expert in her field of sports management, specialising in risk management and her legal liability issues in the health and fitness industry. Also joining us this morning is Kenya, who is a standout Isca student. She currently plays for the Mermaid Marlins and completed her internship with the New South Wales Waratahs. Thanks to the both of you for being here, and I'm very much excited to hear your insights, and I'll hand it over to you now, Bettel.
Thank you for the nice introduction, Angus. It's a pleasure to be here.
No worries.
So I will start with my presentation. I'm hoping oops. What's happening? Okay, so International Sport College Australia. If you haven't already seen us on the social media, you may be curious what is Isca. So the purpose of my presentation will be to explain a little bit more about Isca, the values that we hold, and what you will achieve if you become an Isca student. So overall aim of our program is firstly to provide a flexible, student-centered, and career-focused education for aspiring young athletes. We aim to develop their intellectual skills and competencies to help them pursue further higher education in their chosen disciplines. There are 4 pillars of our program. So the first one is business, second is sport management, third high performance, and work placement, so work integrated learning, or also known as industry placement. All of our pillars are developed by industry professionals with extensive experience in their fields who are able to apply theory into practice. Our industry placement ensures that all of our students graduate having had very well-established and good experience and networking capabilities in the industry, having completed 100 plus hours at a sport club or sport business that is really closely aligned with their future career aspirations. Our stable Diploma sport management program is a 1-year program and it comprises 3 trimesters. So a student studying full-time can expect to graduate in 1 year. I won't get into the details of each of the subjects and the course credits, but when you look at the right side of this presentation slide, you can get actually a grasp of the type of subjects that our students will be studying, from sport management to marketing to economics for sports, and a elective in their interest area. So this is really designed to help them achieve those core fundamental skills in sport management relevant to being successful in high performance. And in terms of their industry placement, our close ties with the I'm so sorry for this. Our close ties with the industry actually helps them achieve the best in their work placement and help establish those networking that is really going to be crucial for them to succeed in the future. So what is high performance? As this is a sport management in high performance program. So when we look at high performance, actually this is an umbrella term that encompasses the complexity of elite level sport. So it is the adoption of an evidence-based and holistic approach to improving an athlete's performance to reach their ultimate potential. And high-performance managers are equipped with the leadership and management skills necessary to work in this complex and multidisciplinary team of sports science, health, and coaching professionals to assist athletes and their teams to optimize sport performance. So it is really a very complex environment, and our program is designed to help them understand, firstly, what it takes for athletes to perform in these environments, and then next, having have this knowledge, what it takes for the managers to be able to help athletes succeed in this environment. So a typical Isca student, so what does it actually look like when you are an Isca student? Your typical day would start with a physiotherapy session. So our experienced physiotherapist consultants would help identify your existing injuries and also provide you with a prevention and rehabilitation program to help you actually overcome those injuries and manage those injuries. And then the next session will be your strength and conditioning session, where you actually implement a specifically designed program that is really helping you to develop your agility, speed, and physical conditioning. And then next will be your coaching session, where you actually learn more sport-specific skills from leading coaches in their respective fields, followed by a recovery session where you enjoy recovery pools and various other strategies that are widely utilized in the industry. And then you attend your theory classes in the classroom at one of our marvelous, very well designed and very enjoyable lecture rooms. So this is what a typical day would really look like, and it really aims to apply that theory into practice and vice versa. So probably this is one of the most unique aspects of our program. And other unique aspects of our program is that our curriculum is really very innovative, and we stay on top of all of the sports technology advancements and help our students understand what these technologies are and how these technologies are utilized by high-performance managers and coaches alike. We also pride ourselves in holding and helping students pursue their professional development to our iconic students sports summit at the NCG. And obviously, if we are not really bound by the own restrictions due to COVID-19 breakouts, we are aiming to hold these summits each year. And this year we held our summit in March, and it was a great success for all the students and the presenters alike. And we also hold regular sports trips, such as the Melbourne Sports Clubs or the Austrian Institute of Sport, where students get to see one-on-one what the high-performance environment looks like for elite athletes. So again, this is probably one of the most innovative aspects of our program and unique aspects of our program that is designed to help our students understand and have first-hand experience on applying the theory into practice. And we also provide continuing mentoring opportunities for our students, and they again actually have these mentoring opportunities through the networking that they have access to through the sports summits and professional trips. So this is the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much for your insights, Beryl. That was Quite awesome to see all of that in detail, and I'm sure that your presentation now will be benefited from all the students tuning in this morning. So now I'll hand it over to you, Kenya, and then we'll go for some questions at the end. So thanks, Kenya.
Thank you. All right, so hi everyone, my name is Kenya and I'm currently enrolled at the International Sports College Australia and I'm absolutely loving it. Upon leaving high school, I didn't have a super clear direction with what I wanted to do. There were so many questions like, do I go straight into studying again, even though I'm not sure what I want to study? Do I take off on a gap year and travel? Or do I stay around local and work and save some money? So COVID basically answered the travel question for me. So I was left with work or studying and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I did work for that first year out of high school. The only thing I knew I was 100% on was that I loved sport and I didn't want to have to sacrifice it to start a career. I'm a surfboat rower for Collaroy in summer and I play rugby sevens for Manly in winter. So I never really have a break from sport, which I absolutely love. So after viewing a video of one of my friends from high school at Isca, I was honestly so shocked that there was such a great course out there for athletes wanting to study. The ability to be able to stay on top of not only my strength and conditioning training, but specifically training for rugby and rowing, as well as completing my degree at the same time, was the aspect that made me jump towards applying for Isca. The practicality of this course for athletes is so awesome. And I have also now met some of my best friends during the first 6 months of this course, and we all share the same interests and hobbies, which makes everything so much more fun. The campuses at both Narrabeen Sports Academy and Sydney Uni are top tier. I study and train at the Narrabeen campus, which is so good for me as I live in Newport, which I'm pretty sure makes it literally the closest university or college to this end of the Northern Beaches. The facilities are pretty awesome too. Not only do we train in a high performance gym alongside the Manly Sea Eagles, but we also have access to pools for recovery, fields, courts and tracks for conditioning and physio rooms for rehab sessions. After training in the morning, we head into the classroom around lunchtime where we sit for our lectures. The great thing about Isca is that the lecturers have had a pass in not only the sporting industry, but in elite sports themselves. As an example, one of my high performance lecturers right now has currently just finished up coaching the Olympic kayaking team and is now preparing his Paralympic team, which is so cool. This is great because not only does it mean that they know how to convert everything we learn in the classroom into realistic settings, but they are also very reasonable with understanding the juggle that comes with handling commitment to sport and assessments for college. This factor really helped me personally at the beginning of the year when I attended the Aussie titles for rowing in Queensland and was able to be granted an extension for my assessments that week, which really took off the stress. The balance between sports management and high performance subjects is really awesome, as each subject is always different and interesting. Our subjects vary between business-specific topics such as marketing, sports science topics such as sports psychology, and high performance, which includes everything and anything from nutrition through to strength and conditioning and coaching. Being an athlete, I now already apply what I've learned in my lectures to my day-to-day training and recovery to ensure that I'm performing at my peak. The benefit of the balance between sports management and high performance is also great in helping us decide where we would like to complete our work integrated learning. The great thing about ICMS and Isca is the requirement to complete a certain amount of hours in an internship or work placement. Industry experience is so important and really allows us as students to put our learning into work. Some of my biggest highlights this year so far has been the opportunity to complete an internship with the New South Wales Waratahs on game days in their season. I worked alongside their partnerships and event day team at each game held in New South Wales. It was an amazing experience learning what needs to happen to make huge sporting competitions like the Super Rugby go ahead, and the importance of those major partners and sponsors in ensuring those days happen. The sports seminar all of us attended at the beginning of the year at the SCG was a great lead into giving me an idea about some of the great careers I can take out of this course. Listening to elite coaches, CEOs, and professional athletes speak while being served a 3-course meal was pretty exciting. Events like these really provided us as students a huge opportunity to network with some of the sports industry's greatest. We had the chance to talk to each of them and ask questions and advice. Some other great opportunities we are lucky to have include our fortnightly sessions with physios and the use of the sports science labs to put our learning into practice. Earlier this year, we also had one-on-one consultations with a nutritionist who listened to our specific sport and training schedules and intensities and advised us the best nutritional foods to consume and when to consume them. It has been a massive disappointment and quite a challenge having to go online due to COVID because of all the great hand-on sessions we received on campus. Although I feel as though Isca is still providing us with great alternatives. We still have weekly at-home-based workouts sent to us to complete, as well as competitions to keep things social and fun. We've had the same great opportunities given to us as well, including a Zoom call with Cameron Smith, an NRL legend, and Rob Bell, a former world champion and Olympic medalist in Beijing. We have pre-recorded physio sessions and live-streamed yoga classes as well, which keeps things pretty fun and interesting during lockdown. Although I am still itching to get back to train at the facilities with our coaches and learn face-to-face with our lecturers, which is something I never thought I would be so excited about if you asked me straight out of high school, considering I always look forward to the holidays. My ultimate goal eventually would be to go overseas and work within the sporting industry. This course has made me super open to the management and business side of sport, as well as the high performance world and the opportunity to work with elite athletes. A huge dream of mine would be to experience a year or two over in the US, working with a major organization like the NFL or NBA. Studying at Isca doesn't just set those dreams on a bar so high I feel like I can't reach them, but really makes them feel more realistic in achieving. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much for that, Kenya. You certainly answered a lot of questions that I had about Isca, but one question I did have for you, since you've been at Isca and learned a little bit more about the sports industry, you've been involved with the Waratahs, what would you say are a couple of things that you've learned about the sports industry as a whole?
Working with the Waratahs was a really great opportunity to put those things that I've learned in the classroom kind of into practical settings. And I just have learned about how big the sponsorship world is and like the major sponsors and all the partners that really help put those major competitions ahead, like I just said. So for instance, with the Waratahs, their major sponsor was Dakin, which was, I don't know if you guys know, but like a air conditioning and all that type of stuff business. Yep. And even just at halftime shows, which was one of the jobs I was involved in, where we'd get someone out of the crowd and we'd use them and they'd actually get in one of those huge Zorballs and do a race and they'd win a Dakin product. It's just little things like that that really promote the businesses like Dakin, which is why they sponsor us, because then they get that that kind of view from the public.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, well, thank you for that. Also, I just had another question. What would you say, or what advice would you give to a student who is in year 12 now, finishing their exams, and maybe they're thinking about coming to Isca next year?
I would honestly say do it without even thinking about it. I know I talked a lot about being an athlete myself, but to be honest, my sports aren't super high and elite. And you don't have to be an elite athlete to do this course. You can just like love sport, play at a club level. Even if you're not playing sport at the moment, it's just awesome to get into studying straight out of high school, where you also have the aspect of the practical. So what helped me being able to jump straight into studying again was the fact that we come into the morning, we do a physio session, then we do some training and we really get all the energy out so that when we do go into the classroom to learn, we can really focus. And it's just really good also for mental health and stuff, just to be getting out, running around with your friends and learning as well. So I honestly think it's just like the best decision I made out of high school.
Wow, that's so awesome to hear. And also just about the culture at ICMS and Isca, how have you found getting to know your lecturers, getting to know friends, sports coaches? How's that experience been for you?
It's honestly been so easy. So like coming in, obviously you have nerves meeting people. I didn't know anyone that was doing the course, and I thought maybe I'd recognize some familiar faces, but I didn't really. But honestly, within the first week, I'd made friends. Like I said, we all have the same hobbies and interests, which do include sports. So it's really easy to become friends with your peers, especially when you're able to train with them, because it can be hard just sitting in the classroom or if you are an online student. But when you get to, be out playing soccer or lifting weights with them, it's pretty easy to get to know them. And then when talking about the lecturers and the coaches, they're all so hands-on with us. They're always asking questions, checking if we're on top of our stuff. So it's really awesome to have that support from them.
Wow, that's so cool. Thanks for providing that answer.
No.
Over to you, Betul. I just had a question as well. How many classes are in the diploma at Isca? And is there any opportunities to continue studies after the diploma?
Yes, so I guess with classes you mean subjects?
Yes, that's correct. Yep.
Okay, so we have 9 subjects, 8 core, 1 elective, and plus industry training.
Okay, great.
Could you repeat your second question again?
Yes, of course. I just wondered, is there an opportunity to continue studies after the graduating of the diploma?
Absolutely, and this is actually why we are built for. So, in regards to the credit transfer opportunities that we have within ICMS, all of the ISCA graduates, all of our ISCA students are actually eligible to pursue a bachelor's degree in their chosen discipline by receiving credit transfer for their entire first year. So actually, it's actually an excellent opportunity for them to complete their bachelor's degree just in 2 years, which they wouldn't find at another institution. But obviously, when they want to, or if they would like to look at other universities, they can still actually apply for credit transfer for the first year, AP level 5 subjects that they have completed. So they still have that opportunity. But if they prefer to stay with ICMS, obviously it has got much more benefits.
Awesome. Well, there sounds like there's lots of options to continue and develop in their career. Kenya, another question I had for you, how did you find the process of setting up your internship for the Waratahs? Was it quite easy, or how did you go about that?
Yeah, so it was really easy. The opportunity was given to me. I was asked if I would like to kind of apply and do an interview. And because, as I said, I studied at the Narrabeen campus, I had to go into the city and I had an interview with Ian, which is the head of the International Sport College Australia, as well as Joshua Kay, which was my mentor and the guy that kind of ran the internship for me at the New South Wales Waratahs. And you can always only prepare so much for an interview like that. And I was a bit nervous, but honestly, it was so easy, and like they were both very calm and collected, and it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too hard at all. And then basically after that interview, I got straight into it with another girl from Isca, and we've done it together ever since. And I only just finished that, I think, last month.
Wow, that's awesome. And what was your favorite part about the internship?
Working on game days was pretty exciting because obviously there's so much that goes behind the scenes to actually get those game days to go ahead. So the fact that I was able just to turn up and help with the event day staff was pretty awesome. Being behind the scenes, in the change room, seeing the players, kind of putting in what I learned with the high performance stuff at Isca, and watching the players do that before their games was kind of cool to see how it all works. So yeah, it was just great to be behind the scenes and running it all with the Waratahs team.
And have you found that you've been able to make a lot of industry connections, not just at the Waratahs, but also in other sporting organisations?
Yeah, 100%. The sports seminar we had at the beginning of the year, the SCG, after all the presenters talked, we had like kind of a free walk around the room, and we were able to approach any of the coaches, athletes, CEOs. There's so many people there, and talk to them. So it was really awesome to be able to do that. And we've had lots of Zoom calls with Olympians. Like I've said, there's a thing they're doing at the moment where we get lots of Zoom calls with Olympians. So it's really awesome to be in contact with all these people from the industry.
That's so cool. And as a person growing up loving sport, as you've spoken about, was there someone that you looked up to, or you had an idol that made you pursue this career in sport?
Not particularly in the sporting, like as in an elite athlete, but my dad actually works within the sports management world. He works with a lot of the NRL, and he's doing Sale GP right now. He's done heaps of the boxing and worked with Tim Zeus. So I worked with him alongside him a lot when I was young. And it just honestly gave me such a good like insight into it. I wouldn't do too much because I was pretty young and I was kind of just following around, but it really gave me the idea that I just loved it and how awesome it is to be able to work within such big events like that.
Yeah, right. Wow. Okay. So you have a bit of a background there. That's awesome. And Betul, I just had another question for you. What advice would you give to students who are thinking of applying to Isca?
Don't hesitate and just apply. And if you have any questions or any hesitancy at all, just give us a call. We are always here to help you and show you what are the best options for you. We also have scholarship opportunities. So don't really think that, my long effort, etc. It's really about making the decision, and then the rest will follow.
And is there any, I guess, measures in place to assist students who have struggled in the COVID times when applying?
We encourage them to apply as we are not HR-based. So our application procedures are much more flexible and encouraging for students who may have had those types of struggles. So just give us a call and we will be more than happy to help you.
No worries. That sounds great. Well, guys, I think that's all we have time for today. So thank you very much, Kenya. Thank you very much, Betul. It's been lovely chatting with you and hearing both of your answers and insights to everything Isca. I'd just like to remind the students watching today of a couple of things. So whether they have questions for Isca, for ICMS, they can always jump on our live chat and contact our career advisors or student advisors at any time, and they'll help them out and answer your questions. Also, early entry is open now as well. So if you are interested, jump on, get in quick. Spots are limited this year. So yeah, get in as soon as you can, and we'll get a student advisor to get in contact with you and help you through that process. Also, just with your UAC preferences, we do have a requirement that Isca or ICMS be your #1 preference in UAC if you are going to apply at the end of the year. So I just thought I'd remind you all of that. Yeah, I think that is all for today. So thank you again, Kenya. Thank you, Betul. And it's been great chatting with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys.
See ya.